Hey guys, Huzzy here bringing you the second video of the day, and today we are doing a league discussion, the series I take a topic, rip it apart my own opinions and experience, and encourage you guys to join in the conversation in the comment section below. Now, we're going to be going over a few topics today, just to mention they are taken from the QT. That we're doing one QT a month to collect all the topics and questions that people have, and then if I pick your topic, you'll be entered to a Riot Point giveaway at the end of the month. So I'm going to say this right now. In the description of the video, there will be a brand new QT that is going to be for July, because the next league discussion will probably be next month. So leave all your topics for next month, questions, whatever it may be. And in the next league discussion video, the winner of the Riot Points will be announced. So go leave your topics, vote on any polls that are down the right-hand side. It all helps me out. But anyway, let's get into it. So the first one today is going to be one that's not actually on the QT because it actually happened today. And that is the brand new champion leak has potentially happened. So there's a brand new champion, which I don't exactly know his name. I will look it up in a second. But basically, I've seen a couple people in the comment section of today's commentary. Apparently the champion's name, it's one champion, but it's called Kane and Rust. And apparently he has like a transform ability that he basically is a split personality. So when he's like not in like crazy mode, he's Kane, I think, and then when he's in crazy mode, he's Rust, something like that. But people have basically been asking me, Huz, do I think we've already got too many champions? Because they just released two, Xayah and Rakan, and now they're already thinking about doing another one. So I just thought I'd give my 2 cents about it. So what I'd say is no. The problem with a MOBA style game is because the map, Summoner's Rift, is the main game mode by far. The game can become very stale if you constantly don't have new things happening, whether it be items or that. But the biggest new things you're ever going to have is champions. They spice up the game completely. So do I think League is going to slow down in champions? Probably not. I've said for a while, the biggest thing that you'll see isn't really a slowdown of champion releases. It'll be an increase in speed of champion updates and reworks and stuff like that. So Riot have already said, they actually mentioned it a while ago, that before the next champion gets released, so if it is this Kane guy, Urgot rework is coming. And they have hinted at it, they've teased at it. We've seen that he's a massive walking battle tank with shotguns in his knees, and apparently he's going to be like a proper tank. So we know that's coming. So whether Urgot comes in the next few weeks, like I'm expecting a champion announcement rework for him in probably actually in the next couple days. And then probably about 2 weeks after that, he'll get released, maybe 3. And then the new champion will probably be a month and a half, maybe 2 months out. So honestly, like when you actually look at it from when Xayah and Rakan was released to when Kane is going to be released, that's probably going to be like a 3 or 4 month gap. And you have to remember, before Xayah and Rakan, that was like a 6 month gap of champion releases because they were planning to release 2 at the same time. So no, I don't think releasing new champions is a bad thing. I'm in full agreement with Riot doing reworks on champions that either need a rework or just it's a healthy thing to do. So the 2 categories of reworks for me is if a champion is simply not played enough to warrant that being a champion in the game. If that makes sense. Is, okay, you have 140 champions, but you have a champion that isn't really picked ever, and it's taking up a champion slot. Okay, so that's not really worth it taking up a champion slot. Let's rework it, let's make it brand new, and let's make it good. Warwick is a good example of that. Warwick was never played, apart from if you were basically brand new to the game. So they reworked him, and he's in a lot of Challenger, Master, Diamond games now. Like, that's an incredibly successful rework. Poppy was a successful rework. The only negative about it was she got overly nerfed because they did make her too strong. Well, I think I die in top lane. Feels bad, man. But no, all the reworks I would say, I don't think there's been one rework that I'd say that has been a bad rework in comparison to the old version of that champion. Like, you could argue, okay, Sion's not really played, but the old Sion wasn't played. Like, it's still an advantage comparing to what it used to be. So, like, the next question I can save people answering, so what champions would you want to see a rework happen for? Basically, all you have to do, in my opinion, to look at what needs a rework is go on any website that has statistics, like champion.gg, and look at pick rate. So let's actually do it right now. Let's do it live while I'm recording. Let's go champion.gg, And then how do I statistics, play percentage, and let's make it go. Okay, so the champion that has the least play percentage in the game right now is Quinn. In an AD carry / jungle role of 0.1%. Literally 0.1% she's picked. So in my opinion, they should look to rework Quinn, because that does not warrant having a champion slot. Next is Aatrox and Volibear. There's Poppy, but Poppy support. So yeah, sometimes these are a little bit iffy, because like Quinn isn't technically played as an AD carry. She's played as a jungler or a top laner. But you can kind of get an idea. There's Cho'Gath there. Fiddlesticks, like you can just have a general idea of stuff that you think could get reworked by looking at the play rate. Then furthermore, what you can do is you look at the play rate at something that maybe is a little bit more popular. So let's just scroll down a little bit. Pantheon, for example. Pantheon, people say Pantheon jungle isn't bad. Pantheon has a 0.8% pick rate in jungle, and his win rate is 50%. So you don't really need to rework him there when it comes to how balanced he is, because he's doing fine. Singed top lane, here we go. Singed top lane has a 1% pick rate. Top lane is his best role, so this is like a very good, accurate way of looking at reworks. So he has a 1% play rate, which is terrible, really low, and only has a 47% win rate. So it has a negative win rate and also a low play rate. So that's where you could start potentially looking at doing a rework. It could be healthy for that champion. So yeah, that's basically to answer the question. I don't think it's too early for a new champion like Kayn to get released. I think it's healthy for the game. It keeps the game entertaining and exciting. I just think we'll have basically... Think of how many new champions do we get a year? 3 or 4? I think around the 150-ish champion mark, they'll only start releasing maybe 1 champion a year, like a brand new one, and then doing like 2 or 3 reworks. I think that's what they'll probably go with. And, you know, you can just rework all the old champions. Nunu, Morgana, Kayle, Teemo, Tryndamere, all the ones that are back from 2010 or whenever League of Legends first came out. Just kind of go over those, because again, what I've said to you guys, whenever a new champion comes out, a lot of people go, how does that high rating player instantly click with that champion? It's because a lot of the time they have recycled mechanics from older champions, and the older champions tend to have kind of outdated versions of the new champs. So yeah, there you go. All right, so next actual question that we'll actually, while we take from someone, lock myself back on, is going to be all about smurfing. So Haypack's Leg asked the question. Specifically, he's like, can I make a whole video about smurfing? But I'm not going to, obviously, make a whole video about it. But we can talk about some of his questions. Is, you know, why do people smurf? What rules should smurfs respect? Is it ethically acceptable to do so? What's the difference between playing duo queue on a smurf and boosting? Should Riot look into punishing smurfs? All this stuff. So we'll go over it, because again, I will say one thing. There are certain topics in League that I'm like, oh, I don't know a lot about that. One thing I do know a lot about is smurfing. So if you don't know, I have roughly 7 or 8 level 30 accounts in League. Obviously, that makes it having 1 main account and the rest of them being smurfs. I've done an unranked to diamond series on actual YouTube 4 times. So yeah, I hope that you'll take my wording and everything quite serious, because obviously I've been doing a lot of smurfing in my time. So why do people smurf? So I will say this right now. Majority of the reasons that people smurf are bad reasons. The only reason that I would ever smurf is because I'm a YouTuber. So if I wasn't a YouTuber, I was just a normal League of Legends player, I probably wouldn't have a smurf. The original reason for me making one was to do the original unranked to diamond. And then it was a popular series, my most ever popular series. So I was like, I'm going to do another one, and then another one, and then another one. Or I'll have a North American account. And that's kind of what happened. So I don't think most people should have them. The only people that I think could warrant having like a legitimate smurf is like challenger players, because the queue times in challenger sometimes can go over an hour. That's boring. You're here to play a video game. So if you can have if you're a challenger on your main account, but then get your smurf to Diamond 1 that you don't play a lot, at least you'll be able to play some games, and I think that's healthy. So for the majority of people who are bronze, silver, gold, diamond, platinum, I don't think you should have a smurf. Like, it's that simple. The only reason I ever have a smurf is because I'm a YouTuber. Furthermore, saying that as well, as a streamer, it's always nice to have another account that you play ranked on while you're streaming, because streaming is also a distraction. So you can stream on that account and it doesn't affect your main account. So those are the main reasons that I have them, is because I am literally a content creator. So if that answers your questions right now, if you're thinking about having one, maybe that will put you off, because again, there's just not really any point for most people. What rules should people take? Every rule of League. There should be no difference between the rules that you have. You know, the rules that you play on your main account are the same rules that you play when you're on a Smurf. You don't troll, you don't int, you don't rage. All that stuff is applying on both. And what I've actually wanted for a very long time is, obviously, you should never, ever buy accounts in League of Legends, buy Smurfs, even fresh level 30s that nobody's played ranked on, because the same people that offer boosting services are the same people that sell those Smurf accounts. So you're just putting money into, let's say, the black market of League of Legends, which is not healthy at all. What I would want is Riot themselves to sell Smurf accounts, but you have to link it to your main account. And if you're toxic on one account, you get punished on both. I think that would be very healthy for the game, and World of Warcraft actually took a very similar approach. So if you don't know, World of Warcraft for a very long time had a problem with gold sellers in WoW. Blizzard decided, let's make more money and get rid of the black market. Let's sell WoW gold ourselves. And they've had a lot better, you know, there's no shadiness. People's accounts aren't getting hacked anymore. It's a lot easier to manage. And I think League of Legends could definitely make use of that. I would say they probably should focus maybe on a two-step authentication system next, but that's another issue. So what's the difference between playing duo queue on a Smurf and ELO boosting? Honestly, I don't think there's much difference at all. Notice how I never duo queue on any of my Smurfs. If you are known as a higher rating player and you are playing with a lower, like an authentic lower rating person, in my mind, that is a form of boosting. Like, a lot of people have the wrong impression that boosting has to have a monetary gain for the person that's higher ranked. No, like, boosting is just a higher rated player getting someone else to a rating they don't belong in, whether that's they're playing on their account, whether you're duo queuing. Like, to me, that is a form of boosting, and a lot of people would disagree with me there. I don't really care. That's my interpretation of what boosting is. If you as an individual would not get there otherwise, and you have to duo queue, or you have to let someone else play on your account, that is boosting. So I will never duo queue on one of my Smurfs with somebody that I believe will not get to a rating they don't deserve. So, like, say, for example, Fi, who I've known to be a Diamond 1. I think Fi's only been Diamond 1, but obviously still very good rating, same as me. Fi, I've known to be a Diamond 1 player. He hasn't taken League very seriously in the past few years. I think he's maxed out at, like, Diamond 5 for the past few. But if Fi went to me, hey, do you want to do a queue again? Maybe on some Smurfs, maybe let me kind of get into the groove of things, I'd say yes, because I know what he's been in the past, and I know him personally. He's a friend of mine, and I know he can achieve Diamond 1. He hasn't done it in a while, but I would trust that he could if he gets back into the swing of things. The difference is, if my friend Jeebers, that some of you may know, he's a mod in the Twitch stream, said, hey, let's duo queue, I'll go on my main account, you go on a Smurf, let's get me to Diamond, I'd say no, because he's never been to Diamond. He's been to Platinum, and maybe I would duo queue with him in Platinum, but I'd never help him get Diamond because he's never personally achieved it. So I would kind of be like, ooh, I'm kind of boosting him to a rating he's never been to. So that's my interpretation of it. Again, people will disagree with me because a lot of people get very defensive when it comes to boosting. It's like, no, I achieved that rating. My friend had no, you know, even though I duo queued with my higher rating friend, he didn't get me to gold. It's like, well, do you think you would have got there by yourself? And I know a lot of people are like, yeah, of course, but you'll never know if you actually will. Unless you did it by yourself, and that's why I only duo queue. That's why I only solo queue, sorry. Because I know in my head, nobody can ever say something to me going, you don't deserve that, because I do it always by myself. Next one, we'll do one more, because we don't want to do way too many. Is climbing easier on a Smurf account? No, not at all. Majority of people that have the impression that I'm in bronze, I'm going to make a brand new account and I'm going to randomly get silver or gold, a lot of them just waste their time. It's no different. You're still playing solo queue. The worst thing, though, is you don't have... If you've got a main account, you're making a new account, you won't have as many champions, you won't have proper runes. Like, it's not a good idea starting a new account if you think you're stuck in a certain rating. So there we go. That's your questions. Thanks very much, dude. Let's find one last question, though, for today, which is going to be, if we can find one, from Katerina Jordanova. That's a cool name. You always talk about how people in low ELO can't deal with split pushing. Can you tell us how to deal with it? Yes and no. So part of it isn't to do as you as an individual. Like, there's a lot of people in low rating that go, I know how to split push. I'm going to split push. That's all well and good, but that's not the issue. It's not about if you know. That is only half the issue. It's if your team knows. So the reason why I always say grouping is just by far the best way to climb until you probably get around Diamond 2, which majority of people in the league will never reach. Grouping is just the far superior way, because if you are split pushing, you know what you're doing, hopefully, and you're like, okay, I'm split pushing, hey team, don't get caught. They might not know what you're doing. They may not be on the same page as you, and they may go for a team fight while you're split pushing, and hey presto, they lose a 4v5, you lose the game, and you're just split pushing on your Larry. You can see here, I'm playing Jax, I'm split pushing, this is Diamond 2 MMR. So I'm not going to randomly split push if I don't trust my team. In this very same game, I told my team earlier in the game, I'm not split pushing, I don't trust you yet. And then eventually I started to trust them a bit more, and then I started split pushing. So that's the problem when it comes to low rating and split pushing. It's a two-way battle. One of the sides is, do you actually know what's going on yourself? And you might do, but there's a good chance you probably don't. But the other half of it is, do your team know what they're doing? Are they going to overextend? Are they going to like take advantages when you're split pushing? And that's the problem. It's all well and good thinking like, I can split push here. Is it a good idea? So that's going to be it. Again, I can't go crazy in depth of specifics because every single game is different. Every single game has different things going on that changes the game entirely. But that's going to be it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the second video. Remember, in the description of this video, there's going to be a brand new QT. So if you left a comment in the last one, leave a comment in this one to be entered for some Riot points and my affection. But that's going to be it. So like the video, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys next time. See you.